The A-Team Challenge, a major project of the Foundation for Lee County Public Schools, is produced in partnership with the School District of Lee County, Waterman Broadcasting, and NBC2. This program features high school students in both public and private schools from 6 Southwest Florida counties as they compete in this exciting academic challenge. The A-Team Challenge is brought to you by the Suncoast Credit Union Foundation.
Hello once again and welcome to another round of the A-Team Challenge. I'm Robert Van Winkle, your host today. Thanks for watching the A-Team Challenge. We're in our 28th year of celebrating academic excellence here in Southwest Florida. You can watch our games on Comcast and on CenturyLink. Look for their education channels, and you can also see our games posted to YouTube. If you go to YouTube, just do a search for Lee Schools TV and you will find our games there. We're excited to play our matches this year with an updated list of new questions, same categories though, students. The subjects are in science, math, arts and humanities, language arts, social studies, and of course some general knowledge and current event questions. Here are the rules for the A-Team Challenge this year. We're going to play 2 rounds up front. Each round is worth 10 points apiece. If you get the question correct, you get 10 points. Now, students, remember in the first 2 rounds, you're to work individually, no help from your teammates. If you miss the question, there's no penalty, but the other team has a chance to hear the whole question and possibly get the point. The lightning round is the new exciting edition of the A-Team Challenge this year. Students will pick from random envelopes a certain subject with 10 questions attached to that subject, and they'll have 90 seconds to possibly add another 100 points to their score, and we'll see who wins at the end of the lightning round. So, happy to welcome today 2 fine schools. On my right, this is Gulf Coast High School, and on my left, we have Lehigh Senior High School, and we will introduce you person by person to the players at the beginning of the second round. All right, students, hands on your buzzers. Let's play the A-Team Challenge. Here we go. First question for 10 points. What novel in which Godfrey Cass conceals his relationship to a golden-haired child who is adopted by the title Weaver was written by George Eliot? All right, literary question starts us off. No points there. It's Silas Marner. Silas Marner was the answer. Next question. What artist painted 2 portraits of Adele Bloch-Bauer and showed an embracing couple performing the title action in the gold leaf painting, The Kiss? Probably familiar with the work, but the artist was Gustav Klimt. Next question for 10. What property, which is said to hold for multiplication over addition, implies that A times the quantity B plus C equals A times B plus A times Anthony, Gulf Coast?
Distributive property.
A times C, correct. The distributive property starts Gulf Coast off with 10 points. In August of 2016, Barack Obama commuted the sentences of 214 offenders who committed what specific type of crime? Drug crimes or narcotic crimes. Next question for 10. What country, whose capital was once called Pressburg, was the easternmost nation formed by the Velvet Divorce when it split from the Czech Republic? Eve, Gulf Coast.
Slovakia.
Slovakia is the proper response. 10 points, Gulf Coast. Next question for 10. The antenna of insects can detect what chemical signals released by one member of a Anthony, Gulf Coast?
Pheromones.
Pheromones, released by one member of a species to affect the other members of that species. Pheromones is the right response. 10 points for Gulf Coast. What French king fought the War of Spanish Succession, built the Palace of Versailles, said, "I am the state," and ruled for over 72 Lehigh Senior.
Louis XIV.
Louis XIV ruled for 72 years in France, and you got 10 points for Lehigh Senior. Got you on the board. Operation Downfall was the code name for what military operation that never occurred because 2 atomic bombings forced Hirohito's forces to surrender? Connor, Gulf Coast.
Invasion of Japan.
The invasion of Japan actually didn't have to occur because of the bombs. Correct. 10 points, Gulf Coast. Next for 10. What 3-letter word, which identifies a 1962 Requiem by Benjamin Britten, was the subject of an ancient treatise on its art by strategist Sun Tzu? Blake, Gulf Coast.
War.
War is right. That's The Art of War, the War Requiem. Correct. 10 points, Gulf Coast. Next for 10, what Australian actress appeared as Jordan's love interest, Naomi, in The Wolf of Wall Street? Connor, Gulf Coast.
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, good job. She played Harley Quinn in the 2016 film Suicide Squad as well. 10 more points, Gulf Coast. Next for 10, in 2016, what man who was not charged after James Brady's death was released to live with his mother after 35 years after he shot Ronald Reagan? Connor, Gulf Coast.
Hinckley.
Hinckley is the right response. 10 more points, Gulf Coast. Next question for 10. What country, which in 2015 replaced its currency, the litus, with the euro, has been led since 2009 by its first female president, Dalia Grybauskaite? Anthony, Gulf Coast.
Greece?
Nope, sorry, incorrect. Lehigh Senior, I gave the full question. I kind of didn't give the name very well, but maybe that didn't help anyway. It was Lithuania. No points awarded there. Okay, next question for 10. What author's novel, 20 years after, continues the story of Athos, Porthos, and Aramis? Lehigh Senior.
Alexandre Dumas.
Dumas is correct. Good job. He wrote The Three Musketeers. Good job. 10 points, Lehigh Senior. Next for 10. Russia's Peter the Great decisively defeated the Swedish Empire at the Battle of Poltava during what 18th century war? That was the Great Northern War, or I would have accepted the Second Northern War as well. All right, no points there. Next question for 10. A ball thrown on a merry-go-round seems to deflect due to what fictitious force that appears in rotating reference frames? Blake, Gulf Coast.
Centrifugal.
That's a good guess, but I'm sorry, that's not the right one. The rest of the question is it appears in rotating reference frames and makes cyclones rotate. Lehigh. Nathaniel.
Centripetal?
No, not that one either. Either pronunciation there, it's not right. It's the Coriolis. The Coriolis effect causes that bending appearance. All right, next question for 10. What Trojan woman was given by Apollo the gift of prophecy? Anthony, Gulf Coast.
Cassandra.
Cassandra was given the gift of prophecy, and she was cursed with the burden that no one would believe her. 10 points, Gulf Coast. What country, whose president Yoweri Museveni is the target of a rebellion led by the Lord's Resistance Army, was once led by Idi Amin from Kampala? Liam, what country?
Uganda.
Uganda is the right response. 10 points. Lehigh Senior, good job. Okay, next question for 10. What poet who depicted pigeons sinking downward to darkness on extended wings in Sunday Morning also wrote The Emperor of Ice Cream? Tough literary questions here today. Wallace Stevens. All right, that signal indicates the end of the first round. Gulf Coast has got a little bit of a lead on Lehigh Senior High School, but we're just getting started. When we come back, I'll introduce you to our players today, and we'll play another 10-point round. Thanks for watching the A-Team Challenge. Don't go away.
Our schools are faced with increasing budgetary challenges. Now, there's an easy way for all of us to support education. By purchasing a License for Learning plate and renewing it each year, $20 are contributed to our schools to help our children. Support the License for Learning campaign. If you've got a car, get involved. For more information, call the Foundation for Lee County Public Schools, 239-337-0433. Get involved.
The Foundation for Lee County Public Schools is celebrating 30 years of enhancing education throughout Lee County. With the support of the business community and community at large. More than 3,000 students have participated in hands-on learning opportunities at local STEM businesses through our STEM at Work program.
One of you can hand the seeds out, one can plant and one can water.
This is actually my favorite class. In this one, I'm growing okra, and that one, we're growing lettuce.
Our Take Stock in Children and student advocacy and mentoring programs have provided more than 5,000 hours of mentoring to low-income, at-risk students. And this year, more than 350 students will attend our college and career readiness workshops. If you would like to learn more about how you or your business can get involved, please visit us online at www.leeschoolfoundation.org.
Welcome back to the A-Team Challenge. We have two fine schools here today. This is Gulf Coast High School on my right, Lehigh Senior on my left, and we'll introduce you to the players now. Let's start with Gulf Coast. Position 1 is Anthony Amadeo. Anthony's the team captain, and that will come into play in the lightning round. You'll see why in a second. He's a senior this year, wants to go to USF, and Anthony, I'm sure you'll have a very successful career. It's good to see you again here on the A-Team Challenge. Next to Anthony is Eve. Eve Clark is a sophomore on the team. Hopefully we'll see you back again next year. Eve would like to head up to the New York area and study English at Sarah Lawrence. In the back row is Connor. Connor Bly is a junior. He wants to head off to Cornell and study hospitality management. And rounding out the team is Blake. This is Blake Anderson. He's a senior, and Blake has some ambitious goals, wants to go to MIT and study physics and computer science. Blake, Connor, Eve, and Anthony are under the coaching of Liz Mongiello at Gulf Coast High School. On my left side here is the team from Lehigh Acres. First position is Liam Gray. Liam is no stranger to the A-Team Challenge. We enjoyed your playing last year. Liam is a senior this year, though, and he'll be off to the University of Central Florida and studying anthropology after high school. Next to him is Nathaniel. Nathaniel Douglan is a senior. He wants to go to Johnson & Wales University and study baking and pastry. In the back row is Katie. Katie Harvey is a senior as well. Katie wants to head up to Flagler College, and she would like to study elementary education. I'm sure you'll be a great teacher. In the back row, rounding out the team, is Patricia. Patricia Rodriguez is a senior as well, and Patricia wants to head to Rollins College, and she'd like to study international relations. So Patricia and Katie and Nathaniel and Liam under the coaching of John Solak at Lehigh Acres High School. All right, students, let's get another 10-point round in here, see how our scores will change in the next few minutes. Hands on your buttons. Here's another round of 10-point questions, and we're off and running. What author of a 2015 novel entitled 2 Years, 8 Months, and 28 Nights also wrote Midnight's Children and The Satanic Verses? I thought maybe that last one might have given you a good clue. It's Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie. All right, next question for 10 is our first math question of the game. You can begin working as you look at your screen. Rounding your answer to the nearest whole number, don't forget to do that. How many pounds are in 6 kilograms, given that 1 pound is about 450 grams? The students are provided with calculators, pencil, and paper, and a few extra seconds for the math questions. And in first is Anthony at Gulf Coast.
3.
No, not 3. Sorry. Lehigh? Just a few more seconds. Liam?
13.
13 is right. 13 is the right response. Lehigh gets 10 points. Good job, Liam. Next question for 10. What man, who in 2011 became the first quarterback to throw for 400 yards in his first game, made the Super Bowl in 2016 with the Carolina Panthers? Connor, Gulf Coast.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton is the right one. 10 points, Gulf Coast. Next for 10, John Knox was the founder of what Protestant denomination that has been the National Church of Scotland since the late 16th century? Anthony, Gulf Coast.
Orthodox.
No, sorry, I can't take that. Lehigh? Liam.
Presbyterian.
Presbyterian is right. Good job. 10 points for Lehigh Senior. Next question for 10. What region of the solar system now includes NASA's Dawn probe, the dwarf planet Ceres, and many, Anthony, Gulf Coast?
The Kuiper Belt.
Not the Kuiper Belt, nope. Many smaller rocky objects, and it's between Mars and Jupiter. Liam.
The asteroid belt.
The asteroid belt is the right response. 10 points, Lehigh Senior. Good job there. Next question for 10. T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland begins by describing what cruelest month which breeds lilacs out of the dead land? There's a description. Blake?
April.
April is the right response. Good job, Blake. 10 points. Gulf Coast. Next for 10. What teammate of Flynn and Blake on a team called the Mudville Nine strikes out at the end of an Ernest Thayer poem in which he is at the bat? Eve, Gulf Coast.
Casey.
Casey is the right response. 10 points for Gulf Coast. Dutch is the official language of what South American? Anthony, Gulf Coast.
Belgium.
No, sorry, incorrect. Okay, Katie?
Netherlands?
No, sorry, incorrect. If you'd have waited just a little longer, it was the South American country whose capital is Paramaribo, and it's Suriname. All right, next question for 10. What woman who in June of 2016 privately met with Bill Clinton aboard a government jet succeeded Eric Holder in 2015? Connor, Gulf Coast.
Loretta Lynch.
As the Attorney General, correct, Loretta Lynch, 10 points for Gulf Coast. Next for 10. What law, named after a Swiss scientist, holds that the charge in enthalpy of a chemical reaction is the same, regardless of how many steps it takes? That law is Hess's law. Hess's law. All right, next question for 10. What U.S. state, part of whose coastline borders the Prince William Sound, has its highest point in Denali National Park? Connor, Gulf Coast.
Alaska.
Alaska. Its capital is Juneau. 10 more points, Gulf Coast. Next for 10. The popularity of the spelling bee was aided in by the 1786 publication of what American author's blue-backed speller? Connor, Gulf Coast.
Scripps.
Sorry, not Scripps. Good try, though. Lehigh, give me a guess. Spelling bee was aided by the publication from Noah Webster's blue-backed speller, Webster. Next question for 10. On what portable gaming console can you play the puzzle game Amazing Tater, the platformer Super Mario Land? Anthony, Gulf Coast?
The DS. 3DS.
No, not DS. And the best-selling puzzle game Tetris. Liam, Lehigh.
Game Boy.
Game Boy is the right response. 10 points for Lehigh. Next for 10. Christian Dier hears the title figure singing The Music of the Night in what musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber? Anthony, Gulf Coast.
West Side Story.
That's a good musical, but that's not the right one. Lehigh? The Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom of the Opera. All right, no harm there. No points. Okay, next question for 10. What man who rescued American forces from the British at Parker's Ferry in 1781 led guerrillas in South Carolina and was nicknamed Liam, Lehigh?
Francis Marion, the Swamp Fox.
The Swamp Fox was his nickname. That's correct, and you get 10 points for that. Lehigh, right under the wire there. Good. 80 points brings you up to that level, and Gulf Coast is at 130. Now, it may appear that we're running away with this, with Gulf Coast out in the lead. However, up next is the lightning round, and it's possible that 100 points could be added to either side or no points to either side, depending on how they do with the questions. When we come back, the lightning round conclusion, one of these teams will move on. Don't go away.
The Foundation for Lee County Public Schools is celebrating 30 years of enriching education throughout the school district of Lee County. Throughout its history, the foundation has provided over $7 million in scholarships and $1.5 million in education grants. 170 teachers have received the prestigious Golden Apple Award. To learn more, visit www.leeschoolfoundation.org.
2 pennies by themselves don't add up to much. But when you're a Suncoast member, every time you swipe your Suncoast credit or debit card, Suncoast donates 2 cents to help children's programs where you live. That means Suncoast members help make their community a better place every day just by buying things with their cards. And when we add all those pennies from all those Suncoast card swipes together, we can give millions of dollars to our children's future. Visit SuncoastCreditUnion.com and learn how much Suncoast could save you.
This one's packed with hope. This one's packed with big dreams. This one's packed with inspiration. It may look like a simple brown bag lunch, but it's really a big way to make a difference. That's because when you become a Take Stock in Children mentor, it takes just 1 hour a week to make an impact that can't be measured. Change a life over lunch. Become a mentor today.
Take Stock in Children is a major program of the Foundation for Lee County Public Schools. For more information on how you can become a mentor, call 239-337-0433 or email info@leeschoolfoundation.org.
All right, welcome back to the conclusion of the A-Team Challenge game today between Gulf Coast High School and Lehigh Senior High School. The score's on the screen. Lehigh Senior has 80 points. Gulf Coast has 130. I want to introduce you to the alternates that are now present on both sides. First of all, on the Gulf Coast side, Geneva Smallwood is, no, that's not you. I got two guys over here. Howie Stubbs. Where's Howie? Raise your hand. That's him. Senior wants to go to BYU and study computer science. And Kyle White's on the end over there. He's a junior and wants to go to the University of Florida studying engineering. Now, over here is Geneva. That's you. Geneva Smallwood, a senior, wants to go to Flagler. I'm going to have to separate you two if you're not careful. And going off to Flagler to study secondary English education. All right, guys. For you folks at home, here's how we work the lightning round. There are two folders in front of me here. I have them in my hands. Each one has a different subject and 10 questions related to each subject. The team with the least amount of points will go first. We'll have 90 seconds on the clock to see how many questions they can answer correctly and add to their score. So, Lehigh, green or orange?
Green.
Green is the one. All right. Here's your subject. The subject is anti-vocabulary, and it's in quotes, A-N-T-I. In other words, given a definition, name these words that start with the prefix anti, or anti, okay? Got it? Understand? Anti-vocabulary. 90 seconds on the clock, please. Go. Drugs like penicillin and tetracycline.
Anti-inflammatory.
No, incorrect. A disappointing ending or result, a letdown.
Anticlimax.
Anticlimax is correct. A blue automotive fluid containing ethylene glycol.
Antifreeze.
Correct. Substances that counter the effects of poison.
Antidote.
Antidote is correct. A leader of the Western Schism in Avignon, like Clement VII.
Anti-pope.
Antipope is correct. A protagonist with dark character traits.
Antihero.
Antihero is also correct. The exact opposite, according to Aristotle or Hegel.
Antithesis.
Antithesis is correct. Aversion or dislike.
Pass.
Pass on that one. Anglican religious movement, often called the longest non-scientific word in the English language.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Yep, that's correct. Material made of particles like positrons.
Pass.
All right, you passed on aversion or dislike. You can pass again if you want.
Pass.
All right, and the other past question was material made of particles like positrons. Okay, that was a pretty good round. Let me just tell you real quick, the aversion or dislike was antipathy, all right, antipathy. And the other one was the material made of particles like positrons is antimatter, antimatter. But here's the good news. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 judges, 7 correct. That gives you an additional 70 points. It puts you up to 150 points. All right, excellent work, guys. Now, in the orange envelope, are you boys and girls ready? All right, you ready for your subject? You ready, Geneva? You're going to need to get at least, get at least 3 to win the round, as you can see. But we're going to do all 10, so I want you to fight for some school spirit, see how many points you get. All right, you ready? Here's your subject. The subject is vice presidents. Oh. Name the president under whom the given vice president served. Okay. So I'm going to give you the vice president, the name of the vice president. You got to tell me what president he served under. Okay. You ready? Yes. All right. 90 seconds on the clock. Here we go. Hubert Humphrey.
Pass.
George Clinton.
Pass. Pass.
Hannibal Hamlin.
Lincoln.
Correct. Harry Truman.
FDR.
Correct. Can you be more specific?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Correct. Nelson Rockefeller.
Pass.
Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah. John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Correct. Levi Morton.
Truman.
Incorrect. Walter Mondale.
Pass.
Pass. Dan Quayle.
Reagan.
Nope, sorry, incorrect. Richard Nixon.
Ford.
Incorrect. You passed on Hubert Humphrey. You can pass again if you want.
Pass.
George Clinton.
Polk.
Sorry, incorrect. Nelson Rockefeller.
Jackson.
Sorry, incorrect. Walter Mondale.
Reagan.
Nope, incorrect. All right. That finishes that round. You got 1, 2, 3 right. Is that correct, judges? And that means, go ahead, is that the score? Did we get it? Yeah, you got it. Okay. You won by 10 points. Woo! Good job. Hey, that was fun. That's the way I thought the lightning round was supposed to work. So Lehigh Senior, thank you. You guys did a great job. Gulf Coast, you'll be moving on. Thank you for watching the A-Team Challenge.